Friends, I'm Rich Larson and I'm the IRC Tire Guy. Today we'll be breaking down another essential extreme enduro skill that I believe is often overlooked. In fact, I personally didn't realize the importance of this skill until just recently. Today we're talking about clutch finger dexterity. Now, I'm sure most of you are well aware of the importance of clutch control. Especially in more technical situations, your ability to control your machine's RPM and in return control the traction of your rear tire, I'd say is even more dictated by your clutch than your throttle. Of course, they do go hand in hand, but it wasn't until just recently I really noticed the extreme importance of completely knowing the engagement point of your clutch. While I was recently teaching a private lesson, I had a conversation about which finger I use for the clutch. I personally use my middle finger, which is more on the uncommon side. I wasn't advocating for one or the other, just explaining my preference. I suppose mostly being self-taught, I learned a little bit differently. It wasn't until I tested using my pointer finger for the clutch that I realized how completely useless my finger was. I literally couldn't hit any obstacle. Not that using your middle finger is any better, just the fact of how used to my middle finger I was. In that realization, I began to understand how important clutch finger dexterity is, and how someone who may be beginning or just starting an extreme enduro, where the clutch is used so much more, could really benefit from a few different clutch dexterity exercises. And that is why we're making this video now. Understanding the engagement point of your clutch is one of those often overlooked skills, especially for extreme enduro. I can't tell you how many times I see riders lose all the ground they just made up because they aren't comfortable with the engagement point of their clutch. It's so often on a steep hill or rocky incline, whether it be from a mistake or a loss in momentum, I see guys stop their machine, pull in their clutch, and roll backwards. In these sketchy situations, learning how to slip your clutch and keep your machine from losing ground is so important. So what are some clutch dexterity exercises to prevent these and other clutch-related incidents from happening? I'd say first is to get comfortable with the engagement point of your clutch. On flat ground, giving a very small amount of throttle, practice slipping your clutch as far out as possible, as quickly as possible, without killing the machine. Remember, as little throttle as possible. This is a great exercise to improve finger dexterity and speed with your clutch. Being able to quickly slip your clutch is so important, especially when doing more technical maneuvers, like slow wheelies, pivot turns, and double blips. Clutch speed is imperative. Another great exercise for understanding the engagement point is to try and find a hill with a slight incline. Ride slightly up the hill, then pull your clutch in. As your machine begins to roll backwards, apply slight throttle and slip your clutch to engage your drive, as well as stopping your bike from rolling backwards. Again, a good rule of thumb is to use as little throttle as possible. I always say, I'd rather you kill the engine than over-rev your bike and spin your tire. This is a great exercise for getting comfortable with your clutch. If you want to add a little more difficulty, try getting the front end up in the air and keeping it there in a static wheelie position. This time using the same hill, apply slightly more throttle and that same quick clutch slipping exercise we just spoke of. This is very close to the beginning of a slow wheelie technique, except this time straddle each leg off each side of your bike. Once the front end is in the air, the goal is to use just the right amount of throttle and clutch control to hold the front tire up in the air in a static wheelie position. Once this is mastered, the next step is to walk your bike forward up the hill without dropping the front tire, slipping the clutch just enough to move your rear tire forward, but not enough to flip the bike over. All these exercises may sound somewhat monotonous, but each step will surely improve your ability to be comfortable with the subtleties of the throttle and the clutch on your machine. If you're enjoying these hard enduro technique videos, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, as well as follow us on Instagram at IRC Moto and my personal Instagram page at RichLarson511. And until next time, keep shredding.